Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's podcast. Today, I want to talk about power and energy and recharging. All of that, all of that. All right, so, we live in an electronic world. Um, Everybody knows how important it is for us to recharge the batteries of our devices, right? So, most people have cell phones. Not everybody. I say most people. I know people who don't, but most people have cell phones, right? Even if they don't have that, they drive cars. They have a device of some sort that requires charging, right? Or recharging that's battery operated, right? Um, so your phone has a battery, right? And I mean, everywhere you go, you see somebody, oh, I'm only at 3%. You know exactly what they mean. They're talking about their phone without them even having to say, the 3% power for their phone. People are looking for chargers, people are looking for outlets, all of this stuff. So it's ubiquitous, right now. Um, Batteries and recharging and electronics. So, um, if you know me, you should see where this is going already. But so there's a whole market, right? Batteries are so important to our lives that there's a market for them, right? We have car chargers, we have travel chargers, solar power chargers, right? All of these batteries, um, all of these places and all of these different types of batteries. There are stores that sell nothing but batteries. Batteries for watches, batteries for cars, like that's what they do. All right. So everything runs on power, right? That's why we need batteries. Everything runs on power and everything runs on energy, right? Both of which must be constantly replenished. All right. So, how is it that we can be aware of the fact that our devices need to be replenished, right? But we don't connect that with our spirits, right? Or our souls. Are our bodies not powered by our spirits or our souls, right? If you say no, then what happens when a person's heart stops working correctly and they die, right? They transition. Um, and then you fix their heart, they should come back, right? Like a device. I recharged their battery, I fixed the problem, but they don't, right? So obviously, it's something more to this existence. The spirit is what keeps the body alive, right? A person, she's so full of life. She's so energetic. Energetic means full of life, and energy is life. So that means that's the thing that's keeping me alive. That's what's keeping my body alive, right? So, knowing that, having said that, um, our bodies are powered by our spirits, our souls, right? But as I just said, everything requires recharging periodically, right? So we say, my phone is dying. That's what we say. Let's think about that for a second. Why do we use such a strong word or phrase for an inanimate object, an object that has never been alive and will never be alive? We say it's dying. We don't say it's losing power or it's losing energy, which actually would make more sense and that would be more accurate, right? Because something that has never lived can never die. So, but yet we say this, everybody says this, and I don't know where it originated. I don't know, but everywhere you go, this is what people say. Like even in other countries and in other languages, that's what I've observed. They say the same thing, like it's dying, right? Instead of more accurately, it's losing power or it's losing energy or my battery is losing power. No, it's dying. So strong, right? Of course, that also shows our attachment to these devices as humans in general, not just anybody specific, and how we've grown attached to those. But we ain't gonna talk about that today. But yeah, we see them as living things subconsciously, right? And so they live to us, right? They entertain us, they come to life, and they also die, right? When they can't do those things for us anymore. That was deep. Maybe I'll make another podcast about that. All right, so what do you do? What actions would you take if your spirit was dying? Think about that. So, okay, when your phone is dying, what do you do? Oh man, I need battery power. Like, I've seen people like acting like they were possessed because they had to find an outlet. I've seen people who out at restaurants, I mean, everywhere, at clubs, like, you name it, schools, and people are like, is there an outlet somewhere? Or somebody will say, oh, do you have a charger? Do you have a, this subsidiary, do you have an Android charger? Do you have an iPhone charger? Like, it's laughable. Like, when you think about how people are always on a hunt for more energy, right? For more power for their devices. So we know what you would do if your electronic device or your phone was losing power. You'd be on a hunt like a mad person, right? I gotta plug this thing in. I gotta get it more power. But if your soul or your spirit was dying or losing energy or losing power, to be more precise, what would you do, right? Well, see, the thing is, you first have to be aware of the fact that you have to be aware of that fact in general, right? You have to know what that looks like. You see, the devices, when they lose power, when they're losing power, they alert us, right? They alert us, and it's obvious. We see it. We look at the battery, and we can see it's going down, and it'll warn us, or whatever your phone does. So that's a lot easier, right? But no, it's not. You get warnings as well. You're very well warned when your soul energy needs to be recharged and replenished. We just don't pay attention to it, or we just don't know. Maybe some of us don't even know what it looks like, right? When you're more fatigued, maybe some people get anxious or irritable, right? Like babies, that's what happens with them. Oh, they're just tired. Or maybe some people get aggressive, right? Angry. Some people might get sad or kind of apathetic. These things happen, right? Oh, I don't have any zest for life. Like, I'm just kind of going through the motions. When your soul is losing energy or losing power, right? And that can be on multiple fronts. Like I said, I can take this real deep down the rabbit hole, but I don't want to be talking to y'all for like an hour today. Y'all got things to do, right? But when your soul is losing power, right, that looks like different things. So let's just go into that for a second. Losing energy, right? Maybe you don't have zest for your job anymore. Maybe your relationship, maybe your friendships, your circle, right? Maybe, I don't know, eating habits. What else? Your day-to-day routine. Like, I mean, it could be anything. Your surroundings, right? You're tired of seeing the same trees. We love trees, but the same buildings, the same route, driving the same route to work, eating the same thing. Like, maybe that's, your soul's way of showing you that it's losing energy, right? Or maybe it's on in a very literal sense, right? You're going like crazy, and you're doing all these things. Maybe you do like them, right? Maybe you're happy with your life, but you're not allocating enough time to yourself, right? So you're putting all of your energy out. You're giving it's external, but you're not replenishing it, right? It's like a phone. You plug it in, the battery, it gives you all the power that it can. You can talk on your phone, you can do whatever you need to do, but then guess what? Eventually, that thing has to be plugged in, right? It has to go back to source, right, where all of the energy comes from, to be recharged so that it can continue to output its energy to you, right? You cannot give your phone energy. You cannot will energy into your phone. You can't say, hey, phone, hey, I need you. Like, please, wait. Despite the fact that it's alive, right? It dies. You still, on some level, realize that it never really lives. That was deep. But yes, so you know that you can't talk to your phone and make it come back to life. You have to speak its language, right? You have to give it the energy that it needs, that it requires, right? So you say, oh, well, I'll just plug it in. I got to take it back to source. I got to put this thing into the wall, right? And connect it to its source of energy, right? So human beings are energy. Energy's all around us. But doing Reiki, for a phone won't charge it. I mean, I wish it would, but it doesn't. It needs its own type of energy. It needs to replenish itself how it does, in the best way that it does, right? And that looks different for each device. Same with people. It looks different, right? Okay, other situations. So that's the literal sense of it. Losing power, though. Maybe you are just run down with society, the way that things operate, the way that things social injustices, right? The way just this stuff happens and how foul it is, like, and how humans treat each other. Um, and maybe you're losing your voice, right? You're losing your power. You're feeling helpless. Um, are or maybe you haven't done enough to advance, the human issues, social issues, right? You're losing your power because you're not exerting it. So that's the crazy thing about devices too, specifically phones. What happens to your phone if you just leave it on? Let's say you don't use it, you don't do anything to it. So you like, I'm not using any energy, so it should stay fully charged. Nope. It's still going to deplete even if you do not use it, just because it's on, just because it's alive. Ooh, just because it's alive, right? The energy depletes itself. So it's just like with you. We are alive. So even if we don't exert energy, just by virtue of being alive, we are exerting energy, right? We're losing energy. Breathing takes energy. Everything, eating takes energy. No matter what you do, you're losing it. It's going. I wouldn't say losing it, but it's in motion, right? It's a flux. It's in and out. It's coming and going. So you have to replenish that. You have to replenish that energy because otherwise it's just gonna get lower and lower and lower and lower and lower until what, right? Until what? Um, so it's the same with people, right? Losing your power, losing your energy, not speaking out, not taking action toward things that are right in this world. It just, all of this ties in. Just like how you need to eat, right? That gives you energy too, right? I'm fatigued. I haven't eaten anything all day, right? Because you get your energy from the foods, right? And it comes from the earth. All of that source is all connected. It's the same thing, right? It's all the same thing, right? Do not lose your power. Do not lose your power. Do not lose your power, because power is energy. Energy is power. And if you're not advancing the human race, then guess what? You're just sitting there like a phone not being used. Your power is still dwindling, right? All right. So you say, well, this is all over the place. Yes and no. Yes and no, right? It's all about power and energy and recharging. But let's take that back to the beginning, right? So we're so quick to overlook the importance of recharging our souls, right? The, the very things that are keeping us alive. Like, that's crazy. It's crazy. We have all of our devices plugged in, but we are not plugged in. So you say, okay, you just told me all this about energy and power and recharging, and it was really deep, and you need to give me some actions. You need to, speak to me, speak my language. I got you. I got you. I love languages. I got you. How do you recharge, right? How do you replenish your power? How do you reclaim your energy, even, right? From the elements. Take more you time. So that means even if you're out saving the world, 24/8, like, you have to take time for yourself, right? The world will be there, and that's good. You are making sure that you're not losing your power, but at the same time, you still have to replenish your energy. Ooh, did you catch that? So more time for yourself. That's how it comes back, right? Sitting quietly. I want to say meditate, but people throw that word around too much, and it can be kind of off-putting and kind of, I don't know, intimidating, right? It's like meditate, it makes you think that you have to be a certain way in a certain situation, and that ain't even it. You just sit quietly. Sit quietly. Look at the sky. Look at a tree. It's not boring. It's not boring. It's fascinating, actually. If you think it's boring, you need to do probably you need it more than, it's not judgment, but don't look to be entertained all the time, right? Sometimes you just have to sit quietly, sit still, listen to the air conditioning, or the heat going through the vents, listen to your heartbeat, listen to, your breathing, like, just be aware and just sit there, and you'd be surprised what comes to you. You would really be surprised, and how zestful you end up feeling as a result as well, and how replenished you end up feeling. They say close your eyes because it helps you shut out all stimuli, but you can also just, like I said, stare at something blank, stare at something vast, stare at the stars, like the ground, like anything, and just being will replenish your energy, right? Just being, but being aware, right? Not just a phone sitting on the table losing energy, but just being consciously aware of your energy and the fact that you're replenishing it. Right, sit quietly. Stare at the trees, turn off your devices, turn them off, right? Turn down for what? Turn down because you need to get your mind right. How about that? That's the first time, like, I've been able to formulate an answer to that, right? So whenever somebody say that to you, you can be like, turn down. Well, there are times I got to turn down, right? Sometimes I got to get my mental together, right? Turn off your devices. Laugh more, right? That helps. That replenishes your energy, right? That helps you to recharge. Read words on paper, right? Like, people still do that. Like, there are these places, and it's fascinating. They give you the very thing that they need to stay in business, right? But they let you borrow it for free. It's kind of crazy. And they're called libraries, right? So they have these things called books. And, they enrich you. Who would have thought? Like, okay, they don't make a lot of noise and they don't, outwardly entertain you, but once you dive in, you will be entertained, right? You can get your mind right. So read. It's something being quiet. Take a bubble bath, light candles, use aromatherapy. Ooh. All of that. Just for you. Just for you. Not for anybody else. Not for your spouse or, no, for you. You need that energy too, right? You need that energy too. Sleep. Take a nap. Get your 8 hours or whatever you need, but sleep. Like, that recharges you. That is another reason why we sleep. Maybe I'll make another podcast about that too. But yes, you have to sleep. Sleep it's not an option. It's not negotiable, right? You cannot not sleep. Wear thick socks and chunky sweaters in the winter, right? Do that. Like, that recharges you. That's comfort. Like, make yourself comfortable. Make your body comfortable. Don't always feel the need to look a certain way or to constrict yourself in, clothes or shoes or stuff that's tight or that hurts or, no, be free. Look at flowers. Buy yourself flowers. Smell flowers, right? Like, water, drink more water, be around water, look at water, listen to water. Like, all of these things are ways for you to recharge yourself, right? And they're all dun 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 free. Yay! Who would have thought, right? Who would have thought? Look at nature giving us stuff for free. So yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about today. I wanted to talk about power and recharging and energy, because I think a lot of people could benefit from this, especially given the fact that it's the holidays and everybody's running around and running themselves ragged, and they're not recharging, right? All of these people have their devices plugged in, and you look at them and they're not plugged in, right? They're not plugged in themselves on a spiritual level, even just emotionally, even physically, right? We can take it spiritually, but physically too, right? Recharge your batteries. You are worth it. Give yourself that energy back. All right, y'all. I am going to go, I don't know, play in some leaves or something like that. But have a great week, all right? Peace out. Love, live, light. Don't forget to recharge. Bye.